Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Let's take you through the newspaper front pages to share what the big stories are. But joining us this morning is political analyst Fayo Kayode. Good morning. Thank you for your time with us.
It's my pleasure being with you this morning.
Now let's head into the papers, looking at the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, the big story says, tax review. Presidency mounts defense as 36 governors reject proposal. NEC asks president to withdraw bill from National Assembly. Tinubu panel says bill not against governors. Federal government striking varsity workers talks end in a deadlock. Flooding, NEC plans new dams for Southeast and South-South. Crashed helicopter wreckage found, 3 passengers remain missing. Spain flood deaths rise to 150, hundreds displaced. And we also have at the top of the paper, Ipman can't lift petrol without NNPCL approval, says Dangote Refinery. 12 federal government MDA salaries to be delayed. Federal government offers 9-month window for free forex deposit. That was a very interesting story we saw yesterday. INEC records 72% PVC collection. APC, PDP differ over Aiyedatiwa's scorecard. And these last two stories are, of course, regarding Ondo governorship poll. But that's all on the Punch newspaper. Let's move to the next.
The Daily Independent newspapers next. It says here, NEC asks Tinubu to withdraw tax reform bills from National Assembly. Orders integrity review of Nigeria's waterways and dams, says 321 dead in 34 states on account of flooding. Tinubu not against northerners with tax reform bill, says the presidency. Governors admit hardship, assure Tinubu's reforms will bring succor soon. A court dismisses suit seeking to sack NDDC board chairman. You can also find here we inherited over 2,000 road projects and terminated 10 contracts, says Dave Mahi. 23 persons feared killed in fresh headsman attack on Benue community. We've not received Ipman payment to buy petrol, says Dangote Refinery, and also poverty in the land, a ticking time bomb. Federal government apologizes over incessant national grid collapse. I think apology, that's all Nigerians need. Just apologize at the end of the year.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all that you can say. I'm sorry.
Those are the stories on the Daily Independent this morning.
All right, let's move to the next paper this morning, the Guardian newspaper. On the front page of the Guardian, from third world to superpower, how to lift millions from poverty to prosperity via local initiatives. That's a big story there. Proscription, appeal court reserves judgment on IPOB's appeal. FX crisis, federal government gives Nigeria 9 months to deposit dollars in banks. Will Nigerians listen? That's conversation for another day. Rivers, NLC threatens shutdown as Wabara PDP coalition warned of crisis escalation. Our relationship must be win-win, Tinubu tells France, China, Denmark. National Assembly adjourns plenary abruptly as NEC advises immediate withdrawal. EFCC recovers 248 billion naira and $105 million in 1 year. Government, media are partners in nation building, says Information Minister. How we improve land administration in Edo by Obaseki. And that's all on the front page of The Guardian. And I'd like us to begin the conversation this morning with the Punch newspaper, talking about the appeal. Presidency mounts defense as 36 governors reject proposal. And this is, of course, talking about the new tax bill. The governors have said that it's not favorable to the North. The NEC has had a meeting. Yesterday, we saw the release where in the video they were advising that the bill be withdrawn because the northern governors have said that it's not favorable to them and they would need to go back and sort of get a balanced view from stakeholders to ensure that, it favors the whole of the country. But we would like to start with that and get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, you see, sometimes when I look at the policies that we pass in this particular country, it baffles me. And why does it baffle me these days? On what basis are we coming up with such policies? Let me give you an instance. Look at what is happening in America now between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. The two of them, they are discussing, part of their agenda is all these taxes that they are discussing. So the National Assembly, they are already aware that if Trump or Harris comes in as the next president of the United States of America, this and this and this are what he or she will be doing as regards taxation or immigration or this.
Foreign policy as well.
And all that. But what do we have here? Fire brigade approach. Fire brigade approach. Then even when you are doing that fire brigade approach, who and who are you bringing together as advisors to come up with that policy that will favor both the North and the South, bearing in mind that one of the divides we have in this country has to do with North, South, Christian, Muslim, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, and all that. So to what extent are we putting all these factors, characteristics, into play before we come up with policies? At the end of the day, if National Assembly should pass that bill now, you will see that, sorry, we are just like they are saying sorry at the end of the year through, that we just discussed now.
Yeah.
They'll now be saying sorry. But but before then, they would have caused a lot of chaos, economic chaos within the nation.
Is this also, the fault of Nigerians that during the campaigns for the 2023 elections, Nigerians weren't hard enough asking for policies and asking the candidates to be clear on what their policies are on taxation, on healthcare, and every single detail. And so should Nigerians be blamed as well? Because, the only thing that many people remember from the current administration or the current president is that when he was campaigning, they said, widen the tax bracket or something like that, or reduce their earning power and increase the tax bracket. I don't remember what the exact terms were. But he didn't really have any clear policy.
You see, you are fast-tracking my thoughts, because most of the time, I always narrow down my conversation to the people, especially the educated elite. Sometimes ago, there was a conversation that we should change from presidential system to parliamentary system that we were practicing before. And I ask the two divides, are you now saying that when you go back to that parliamentary, you are now going to bring new people from heaven to come and practice it? Who are the people to practice it? But the major problem is this. It is not either presidential or parliamentary that is bad, okay? But the way we practice it here. Now let us come to that campaign you're talking about.
Yeah.
I always follow American election, that of France, that of UK, all right? You find out that at any point in time, it is not all this giddy bang bang kind of campaign. You see them sitting down, asking questions.
Yeah.
You see the press also coming in, organizing debates for them, all right? And people will now be asking questions on basic issues that concerns them. Look at the issue of, when they were mentioning taxation on tips, I was marveled. Taxation on tips. Somebody said it was going to remove taxation on tips. You know, most bartenders and all that, they live on that. Somebody said, look, students, I'm going to be giving you this and all that. But do we have it here? What is our campaign strategy here? You just see them in a motorcade, on a motorcade. They will now be throwing mugs like this, pressing iron, phone, television. Excuse me, is that campaign? But unfortunately, the educated elites that are supposed to change the narratives, they are even the one encouraging it. Yeah. And that is why I will give you one of my quotations, that a people that has refused to emancipate itself from the claws of the ancient, hegemonic, and Machiavellian leaders will perpetually be emancipated by them.
Yeah, I mean, the flaws in our leadership recruitment process, I think aside, the blame on INEC and the blame on the judiciary, the blame on, every other, institution of government, the people also have, a fair share of that blame.
Yeah, the people. The people.
Everyone.
A larger percentage of the blame goes to the people.
I mean, well, anyway, let's not focus on that, this morning. And I feel like the institutions of government have also failed the people a lot.
Surely they have failed, but if the people had been able to understand and then be able to understand, to know, to read their duties, civic rights, and obligations, all these things wouldn't have been happening.
Let's quickly move to Petroleum. On the Daily Independent, it says here, we've not received IPMAN payment to buy petrol, says the Dangote refinery. While, of course, everyone is still aware that Dangote is still not clear on what exactly his price per litre of petrol is. NNPC claimed to no longer play the role of middleman, but of course the IPMAN spokespersons and Petron that we spoke with said that they are still buying from the NNPC and they've not been able to purchase directly from Dangote. Though all the claims initially that Dangote's emergence would provide cheaper petrol for Nigerians have all fallen flat. So quickly get your thoughts on where we are today.
And just to add to that, if you look at the punch as well, it says that IPMAN can't lift petrol without NNPCL approval, and Dangote is the one saying that. So it just feels like there's different sides of the divide. Some people are throwing Dangote under the bus. Dangote, in a way, is making us realize that NNPC is to blame for this.
You see, the politics of the petroleum industry is something that is hidden from the people. It is only those that can peep into it that will be able to talk about it meaningfully. Now let us look at this. Let us look at this. Before now, we have been saying because we have been importing fuel, this and that is why we've been having incessant increases in prices of petroleum products.
Yeah.
Now, somebody now said, look, I'm going to take this big log from your eyes. And he has done that.
Yeah, and invested $20 billion.
All right? Let us forget the characters, the factors, the variables within the invested money. That's not an issue now.
Yeah.
But at least that refinery is there. The biggest in Africa. And probably, I think, the third largest in the world or so. Okay? So, why are we still buying at this same price? Why is it so difficult for us to now be having constant supply of PMS? Why? So, it's a big problem. And that is to tell you that my article that I wrote some few years back, titled, A Bewildered Nation, the connivance of the leadership. And when I say leadership, inclusive of political leaders, economic, religious, traditional. Connivance of the leaders against the people. All right? Because they all know what is happening there. And they know that two things controls our economy. Petrol, which is energy. Then power, light.
Yeah.
Do you mean they take those ones out, we are not going to have good respite to be able to live meaningfully? And that is exactly what is happening. Nothing more. Listen, there was a time that somebody said, petrol is not even supposed to be sold more than 50 naira per litre. All right? We did a research along the line that even when NNPC was selling petrol at 190 naira per litre, okay, NNPC was making a profit of 100 naira per litre. And petrol is supposed to be a socio-economic product in Nigeria.
But
and meanwhile, even this present National Assembly alluded to that. So why are we now buying petrol at this price? Tell me, where is that subsidy?
Yeah, so I feel, I don't know if, that's a strong argument to make, mostly because the view is that petrol price is still based on what the international price of crude is.
I will disagree with you. Let me put this straight to you.
All right.
At your backyard, you have a big expanse of land, okay? And you decide to plant yam there, okay? When you are harvesting your yam with your family, will the price at Mile 12 or the price at Oyinbo be affecting the one that you are harvesting from your backyard?
No, I mean,
should it be affecting the one from your backyard?
But for now, that's not.
Why should it be? No, excuse me. Why should it be? If truly, was it World Bank or IMF that was talking of recent that is not having hand in the kind of economy we're having? You remember about 2 weeks ago, made a statement like that. So why should he? If truly we are having leaders that has people at their mind, that wants people to develop the way they're supposed to develop, that wants the people to live. Listen to this. Look at Labour. Labour was on minimum wage argument back and forth for how long? At the end of the day, they arrived at 17 naira. 17 naira. Abi? Yeah. Minimum wage. But what happened immediately? What happened immediately? Tell me, that 70,000 minimum wage, is it still applicable to what is happening in our economy now?
No, it's not.
No. So please don't let them be deceiving us with this their shenanigan of a dollar or whatever. Look at what they said about dollar now. That people should return the dollars to them.
Which is the next?
Don't they know who are keeping those dollars? Do you have dollar in your pocket? Don't they know who are keeping those dollars to be able to give their own naira value? All those people that make big money, don't we know them? It's just that because they are on the national television, I don't want to be mentioning names. But the way they are watching now, I'm sure they are thinking that this boy will soon mention their names. But I won't mention your name, don't worry. But you know yourselves. It's not you, it's not me. It's still our leaders.
Yeah, well,
connivance of the leaders.
I mean, I get your point, but until we have a PIA that states otherwise, it's currently still going to be priced based on the
which PIA?
International.
Which PIA that doesn't apply to that only applies to you?
My point is, I get your argument, which should be the logical argument, that if you have it in your backyard, you should not be, pricing it on what is being sold in Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
But until the PIA states otherwise, that's what we're currently.
But even when you look at Saudi Arabia, and the way they manage their oil, and also the way the Gaddafi Libya I'm talking about, manage their oil, then you will know that we are nowhere in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I wanted to quickly talk about the story that you made reference to, federal government offering a 9-month window period for people to bring in their FX deposits. They've said no questions will be asked, no taxing of these monies, that people should just bring them back. Do you see that changing anything? Do you even see people actually bringing back their dollars into the banks?
Who are the people they are talking to? They should talk to themselves, because they are the one that spends these dollars. Go to their parties. Go to where they are enjoying themselves. They spend dollars. Listen to this. I will ask you a question. What is our legal tender in Nigeria?
Naira.
Are we not seeing schools charging in dollars?
And businesses too.
Who owns those schools?
Nigerians.
Are we not having estates charging in dollars? Who owns those estates? Who are behind them? So why are they now telling us this? Is that what we ask them to be doing there? No, they know who to talk to. They know what to do. And that's why I was saying the other time that 2027 is behind our corners. We should change it. The people should change the narratives. We want to be sitting down with them. We want them to come to this kind of a station and sit down here. While you are moderating, people should be asking them direct questions without saying it is you that we talk. Let everybody ask them questions, and let them ask those questions. We want to know what their foreign policy is going to be. We want to know their policy on exchange rates. We want to know their policy on fiscal issues. We want to know their policy on education, on every aspect of life. Not until when we start to do that. See, it is always going to be back and forth.
Yeah. Quickly get your thoughts in on the River State crisis.
It is nothing, what is happening in River State is nothing other than executive and judicial rascality. Nothing more. Nothing more. And unfortunately, when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer. It's the people that will suffer. Now, a court had said, central bank should not give River State their federal allocation. When you are saying you should not give them federal allocation, on what basis are they in the Union of Nigeria? It's part of it. All right? It's part of it. Because the allocation you are talking about, you cannot even get it in the first instance without the contribution of River State.
Yeah.
So if River State is now saying, okay, you are not giving me an allocation, me too, I will not contribute to that post, what will they say? No. What will they say? Because it's supposed to be a kind of a relationship. All right? 1, 2. When River State was telling the courts that I want to change my lawyer,
Why didn't they allow that happen?
why did you allow him to change his lawyer? I'm employing a lawyer. You are saying you are not, okay, you are inviting me here. You are the one that invited me here. I'm here already. You are now saying, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to bring you. Is it not your prerogative that you used to bring me here? You can also use your prerogative not to bring me again. So why should you be forced? Because you own your station. River State employed the lawyer. So why don't you allow River State to change his lawyer? Okay, River State is saying, listen, we want to change, we are not comfortable with some of the submissions. We want to change this. You allow them to change. Because a court is supposed to be impartial. No. It's supposed to be impartial.
All right. I think we need to wrap up here. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your very, very passionate views with us this morning on critical national issues. We'll look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, if not for your baritone, I still want to hear it again. It's nice being here.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day and happy weekend ahead.
You as well.
As well.